From a fun night to a fucking mess. Yo, what's going on? It's someone that's no one. Happy Bicycle Day, and welcome to today's second upload. This report is coming from T.O.P. When this happened, March 2019. The drug used was LSD at a dose of 550 micrograms. The route of administration was through tabs. Gender, male. Age, 16. Prior experience, he notes, I've had about 5 LSD experiences, a DXM experience, and a shroom trip that wasn't very enjoyable, and I literally have smoked weed every day for about 3 years. And the setting was at his house with his friends. So this report is where a user and his friends, trip together, have a good time, and some things rise up, and it turns more so for the worst, as you will see. And some people kind of, get emotional, break down. You guys will see what's up. So I hope you guys are going to like this one. And without further ado, let's dive right into it. Howdy, I'm T.O.P. This is a report from about, I'd say, March of this year. I'm a 17-year-old male, but when this happened, I was 16. I took about 550 micrograms of LSD, and 2 of my friends took 300 micrograms, and the other one took 550 micrograms as well. So the journey started off like this. Me, my friends Charlie, Xander, and Jeremy were going to pick up the acid, which was from some dude we've never bought off of before, but seemed legit. On top of that, he lived in the nicest neighborhood I've ever seen in my state. Like, I'm not fucking joking. It was like we pulled up to Beverly Hills. Anyway, we got the acid, but at this point in time, it was just gonna be me, Xander, and Charlie. But we decided we should bring another friend into this, so we called Jeremy. And we were just like, yo man, we got some tabs, and we have an open crib. You should come trip with us. And he was like, hell yeah. So we picked him up and headed to my place. 10:30 p.m. We all dropped our hits after eating some pizza. Then we all went outside and smoked a bowl of some beautiful sour diesel. We all got stony bologna and went back inside, and within about 15 minutes, I was blasted into the psychedelic world. I watched my stand-up closet and dresser melt in front of my eyes and shoot out colors. At that point, I realized I was in for one hell of a trip, so I rolled over and closed my eyes and melted into my bed. It felt like the softest thing in the world. I basically lay there making love to my blankets until Jeremy walks over and asks me how I'm doing, and I reply with, I'm tripping fucking balls, bro. And all my friends laugh and ask me to come join them on the couch, and I did. Jeremy was playing Apex Legends, and I could barely even tell what was going on the screen. Everything that moved had millions of tracers, and I couldn't focus on much. Then my friend died, and we started playing some racing game. I'm not sure what the name of it was, but in the game, my friend was racing at the speed of light down a tunnel. You could drive on every surface, and I could feel the G-force of the car moving on my body. Me and all my friends are laying on the floor, feet pointed straight and arms pointed straight, screaming because we feel like we're going thousands of miles per hour forward. 11:30 p.m. By this time, I'm completely zoinked. I have no sense of time or myself. I'm lying on the couch watching Thor, and the movie seemed like one never-ending scene of Thor staring at a huge head with diamonds everywhere, and it just keeps changing angles over and over again. Then I look over at my friend Xander, and I ask him if I can hit his vape. It was the most difficult sentence I've ever put together in my life. My mind and mouth were working at different speeds, and I couldn't get the words out. Like my mind made them, so it probably came out somewhat along the lines of, hit vap, sir? And I guess he knew what I meant, because he handed me the vape, and I proceeded to rip the absolute shit out of it and blow out the biggest cloud I've ever seen. It was morphing and changing colors, and it looked like a waterfall in midair. 12 p.m. I went back over to my bed, laid down, and turned on the album A New Place to Drown by Archie Marshall, which is one of the spaciest and trippiest albums I've ever heard. It makes you space out when you're sober, so you can only imagine what it's like on acid through a damn good speaker almost at full volume. I was consumed and lost in the music. Every note, every synth, every drum, everything about the music was resonating inside my soul. It was beautiful. As this was happening, I was staring at the ceiling and watching it swirl and move and dance around. I was in a world of my own. Then Charlie gets my attention. Dude, you want to see something absolutely insane? Me. What? He proceeds to pick up a fold-up outdoors chair and says, the chair comes from nothing, bro, and folds the chair up and folds it back out and sets it down, and all of us are in amazement. He does it about 7 times in a row, each time with us giving the same reaction. After this, I play the music video for the song Lock It by Crumb, which is an amazing song when you're tripping, by the way. This felt like it took all my energy, and I was so relieved when I hit play. After this, I black out from the intensity of the trip for a little bit. About 3 a.m. This is when things start going south. I wake up from my void into complete chaos. My friend Xander has some trust issues with Jeremy from some beef from a few years ago. This was slowly building in him all night. Then the one thing that caused a break in sanity for my friend was seeing a police car parked across the road. This sent him into a full-on psychotic break. He freaks out on Jeremy, completely convinced he was working for the d.e.a. and swearing up and down he was there to bust us for drugs. He freaks out on him, screaming in his face for a good 20 minutes, and then he completely changed. He started saying he was sorry and that he loves him. Then he'd immediately go back to screaming at him, and he went back and forth for a while until Jeremy couldn't take it anymore and he called for a ride. Jeremy started crying, and we could all tell he was hurt. This whole scenario freaked me out quite a bit, but not enough to ruin my trip either. Throughout this whole ordeal, me and Charlie just laid there and watched this happen. Jeremy ran out the back door of my house and hopped my fence, tearing his shorts and breaking a piece of the fence in the process. 4 a.m. Things have gone into absolute havoc. Xander is running up and down the stairs, panicking, telling us we need to run into the woods and that the d.e.a. is about to bust in here. He then proceeded to destroy my room in a panic, looking for the weed and perks that he had. While he's doing this to me, he looked like a completely other person. His movements seemed inhuman. His beanie was sticking straight up. He had one arm cocked up, and he was moving very fast. The tracers he'd left when he moved made him even creepier. He then goes even deeper into psychosis and is convinced that me and Charlie had been replaced by clones from the d.e.a. He swore up and down we weren't real and ran upstairs only to run back down because he thought my dogs were drug dogs. 5:30 a.m. I get up and finally try to calm him down, and he refused to accept anything we were saying. But we all mutually cleaned up the basement. My visuals were still very intense, and everything was still morphing and swirling and changing colors. I didn't feel like myself, and when Xander said, "You're not you," it really fucked with me and made me truly believe I was now another person. 6:30 a.m. Xander left, and it was just me and Charlie. We ate some pizza and discussed what the fuck happened last night. He left for school, and I stayed home because I felt completely out of it. I was still partly tripping balls, and I was not about to go to school that fucking wonked out. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed my report, and I hope you all have a good night.